The first order of business is the approval of minutes for the HDC meeting held on February the 19th, 2013. Are there any comments or corrections for the minutes? I have a motion.
Madam Chairperson, move for approval.
I'll second it.
Madam Secretary, I have a motion on the floor to approve the minutes for the February 19th meeting made by Councilman Les and seconded by Mr. Dyer. Would you call the roll, please?
Councilman Les?
Yes.
Mr. Dyer?
Yes.
Mr. DiLorenzo?
Abstain.
Mr. Hayes?
Yes.
Chairwoman Blitz?
To abstain.
And the motion carries.
Thank you. Agenda item 3 is HDC 037213 for 380 Main Street. Hello.
Hi.
Would you like to sit right here? And what is your name, please?
My name is John Torrance. I'm the project manager for J. Keene Construction. I'm also the bank representative for BB&T.
Okay, very good. And you want to replace the drive-through canopy?
BB&T would like to replace the drive-through canopy in like kind and quality to the canopy over top of the ATM structure on the front of the building.
Okay. And it'd be exactly the same?
It'll be made out of the same material. It'll obviously be a little bit larger, a little bit taller. It won't be any larger than the existing structure above the drive-through now. The bank is requesting that it be raised up as high as possible. Obviously, trucks have gotten a little bit bigger, pickup trucks, and vans tend to strike their ATM or their canopy, so they wanted to try to raise it up and as close to the window as possible. That would be the only alteration.
Madam Chairperson,
Sir.
how far are they going to raise it up? I mean, this roof already is right below the windowsill.
Well, they would raise it up basically about the 3 inches that they can get. I mean, that's
Okay,
as
so we're
much.
still going to have a break between the brick line, be a couple of rows of bricks before you hit the...
I mean, they would probably like to raise it up so that it was right underneath of the row lock for the windowsill. But if that's not something that's going to fly with you guys, then they'll leave a space. They're more worried about it being struck by vans with ladder racks on top of it. That's why they'd like to increase it as high as
They
possible.
got cameras for an insurance companies to argue about those things. But
Well,
of
as
course,
I'm sure city officials know, they're self-insured just like a lot of city buildings
Well,
are,
I
and
mean, I
it still
understand
costs money to fix them.
And I've been a little aware of the bank next door. The problem is they never want to argue with their customers. And that's part of the problem. Okay, but just so we can understand this, we're going to put a steel crash bar system on the entrance into this lane at the back of the...
Correct.
Okay, so that should stop,
Should.
hopefully.
Should.
Put about 40,000 volts in it, and, at the top bar, so if they whack it...
I'm for anything, but I fix these all day long from people that drive around them,
I know.
under them, carry them with them. So,
And the one of Citizens used to be much lower, and a couple times people have hit that one. Okay.
sure.
So we can, Madam Chairperson, I have no problem with this, except I'd like to see a couple, just essentially the break they've got between the roll-off and
That's fine.
and the roof.
Sure.
And the standing seam, as I understand, the standing seam roof, they're going to use a little bit of this prefab metal stuff they've got on the
Like
front.
they have on the ATM.
Same color?
Yeah, it's the same color. I actually have, I brought literature if you guys wanted of the product and the color chart. So I don't know if, I only have 5 copies, but you guys are more than welcome to have them.
As long as it looks
It's a
like this
12-inch
outside.
standing seam. It's a manufactured standing seam. It's not a bent in place. It's a manufactured, but it's the same product, basically.
Same width?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
The ATM is probably an 8-inch.
Yeah.
The canopy over top of the drive-through, you try to make it as symmetrical, and 12 is generally what we would probably use in that case.
Okay, all right.
So it'd be very similar. It's not going to be the exact same
Yeah, I understand.
size.
Figure out with a crash bar.
That's what I want to know, too. How far back are you going to be putting that crash bar?
I'm at the corner of the building,
Right on
the back corner of the building.
And will it go over
It'll go all the way across the asphalt
to the
Yeah.
curb on the vacant lot?
to the vacant lot, yes, to the as close to the property line as you'll allow us to put it.
Any other questions, comments? Will that be just a silver, or will it be a darker tone? I guess you would want it to be bright so people will see that as well.
As far as the crash bar, or the crash bar will be painted yellow. It's a safety yellow. I mean, that's what we paint all of them. I think there's a picture that shows it. And we'll put a swag bar on the bottom of it that's even lower. The crash bar is usually at 9 feet. The drive-through is probably going to be a little bit, the canopy on the drive-through will be a little bit lower. So it'll be a movable bar below that as a second chance. If they come through, they'll hit it, they'll feel it before they hit the bigger bar.
You have a swag bar with on a couple of chains? Yeah. Okay, they're gonna be any lights on the backside or just reflectors?
There'll be reflectors
On the
on
backside.
the backside of it, yeah.
Yeah. that's how far back. Okay. Anything else?
Madam Chair, I move approval of HDC 0372013 as submitted. Do you want to make a-
And just as discussed, I mean, I think the contractor knows what he has to do.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
As discussed.
I'll second that.
Madam Secretary, I have a motion on the floor to approve HDC 0372013 as stated by Mr. Dyer and seconded by Councilman Les. Would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Dyer?
Yes.
Councilman Les?
Yes.
Mr. Lorenzo?
Yes.
Mr. Hayes?
Yes.
Chairwoman Blitz?
Yes,
And the motion carries.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Have a
very
good
much
evening.
for your trouble.
Thank you.
Agenda item 4 is HDC 0392013 for 302 Main Street. Hello, and come have a seat. Would you please tell us your name?
Yes, my name is Quý Lưu. I come here for the license. I would like to reopening for the old jewelry store. Used to be since 1913 or 1932.
Yes.
I have to
23.
submit the application for. I hope it will be approved for the store reopening again.
Okay. So you're just replacing the wording on the canopy, on the front of the canopy. They're going to take the canopy and remove
Remove the letter.
Laurel jewelry and then put another logo on top.
Yes. And because the landlord, the owner, she told me, I want to ask her, I want to keep the same original piece. She said she don't sell that. She don't sell her jewelry, the
The name.
the name, the business. She said I have to have myself for my own. So that's why I'm deciding. The letter L is stand for the Laurel, and W for Whitney. So that's the Whitney jewelry store I used to have.
Okay. And this is an example of the color. It's the dark green.
Same color.
Mhm.
Right.
Have the canopy people told you that they'll be able to completely cover the letters and completely remove them from the existing canopy to where it won't bleed through?
No, it won't be, it will be completely brand new like it used to have.
Okay. Any other questions?
You're using a bit of a different font, a sans serif font as opposed to a serif font. Is there a specific reason that you want to use that type of font?
He's willing to go with the block.
Oh, okay. All right.
Which will be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have the owners said anything about taking their name off of the other canopy? Just leaving the canopy but taking Laurel Jewelry off of it?
Just the name, I have to take it off. And the one I have on the, when I look at it, on the right-hand side, I should take it off.
That will be yours.
The letter, that should be mine, yes.
Right. So they're just going to leave their sign up next to yours, though?
Just leave the way like it is.
The old one?
The old one, yeah. The old one, leave. Just the one I renting, I take it out, the letter.
So it's only for one
It's only
portion?
for this half. He's taking this half of the
Oh,
building.
okay, all right. So there will actually be 2 businesses listed there? Is that what you're saying?
That's what I'm saying, the signs will be advertising for one business that's not there. You know, the Laurel Jewelry part on that canopy, this canopy,
Oh, okay.
closest to Route
That
10.
building is so big. I just see divide for me one section. So on the, I think on the
On the
west.
corner, it'd be somebody else
on the west,
eventually?
she going to do that, but
Okay.
I don't know when it's going to be.
Okay.
Now the person walk in, I don't know when.
Okay.
Yes.
So you, Madam Chair, if I could- Carl, they're going to partition this store, is that correct? Okay. That's how I see it happening, is that correct? Well, let me ask you this.
I'm sure she wants to rent the residual space to somebody else, yes.
Are they going to put a partition up, or something, a firewall?
I would think so. Since it's all mercantile, I'm not the building code person, but I don't know whether it needs to be a firewall, but since they're both mercantile, but again,
Well, here's the
we'll certainly
question.
ask Dave.
As you know, the property falls off to the corner. That's a big step on the corner to get up onto that.
Yes, it is. Because didn't that used to be the entrance? Was it literally?
Long time ago.
Yeah.
Long time ago.
Semicircular step.
And at some point, they went ahead and added this entrance over here. I don't even remember when that was. Now we've got new tenants in there. Who was in there before? Was the Greyhound in there at one time? Sonny? I'm going back too far. aren't I?
Pharmacy, way back when we bought
Pharmacy,
tickets to
Grant.
go to Baltimore, Washington, it was the pharmacy.
Well, I mean, I don't want to cause anybody any trouble, but you've got new tenants coming in, don't they have to meet the ADA requirements? I'll just throw that out.
I can't answer that tonight, but I'll get you an answer from Dave.
Well, I want to make sure that the applicant knows what he has to do, that's all. It's going to be
Make
very
sure we address that
difficult.
with him.
That's a pretty big step up on the corner to get into the other part.
He may have to share his entrance.
No, I mean, they're going to run this wall down.
Right, and he's going to be on this side, so this side will be the
Um,
landlord's
I'm just
concern.
pointing out that maybe a technical difficulty here. Okay.
We will definitely bring that to Mr. Cope's attention tomorrow.
Well, again, and the applicant
And
needs
the
to know before
Yes,
he moves forward.
proceeding
Okay.
further, certainly.
But we can still talk about his sign.
As far as the sign, I have no trouble with the
I don't
With
think he's
that,
partitioning, he's just using it.
height.
Definitely.
Or the spot.
Prefer. Yeah,
Yeah,
go on the bottom.
bottom one.
Okay, I'm in agreement with that.
Outside. Mark?
This will be a general jewelry store, is that correct, sir?
Yes, right now I have to tell you a little story.
Sure.
The gold now so extremely high, so I may do more silver than gold.
Yeah.
So I will have some into it, not guarantee a lot. I
It'll be
try
a
my
jewelry,
best.
it'll be
yeah.
a jewelry store.
Yes, absolutely, 100%, yes.
Okay.
Before the mall closed, I used to be in Laurel Mall. Since last year, she didn't open the site for rent. So I stopped by like the guy who have the T-Mobile cell phone.
Mhm.
I go in there to say a little spot. For the next year, since 3 months ago, I saw the site, put it on for rent. So
You were down at next to Mr. Kim for a while. is that
that's correct. That's
Okay.
correct. Yes,
Now you're going to
yes.
move, you're going to have another storefront.
Yeah, I have
Okay,
told.
good. Okay, good.
Yeah, I have told him I have to move up to the main street.
Yeah,
So-
sure, I understand.
It'd be great to have a jewelry store back again.
Yeah, that's, I think so.
It will be.
I try to keep the name, she don't want it.
Sir, if I can just take 10 seconds. Are you aware there's a business relocation program that if your tenant consents, you're eligible for a cash award, also assistance for your sign, and any other improvements you make? Well, see this gentleman tomorrow? Because you may be eligible for a grant from the city.
Yes, he had told,
Relocate. Okay, good.
Roger, he had told me that, yes, he had told me, yes, he been.
Okay. Sorry,
Thank you.
didn't mean to jump.
Thank you.
Well, it's a serif font, and, yeah, because serif as opposed to sans serif. Yeah.
That'll just, that's the tenant's, I mean, the landlord's responsibility later on. But what else, Dave?
All right, I'd like to make a motion to approve HDC 0392013 for replacing.
Did you ask him if he agrees
Oh,
to do that?
well, it was already
I'm
mentioned
sorry, I
that.
didn't mean
We
to.
would prefer if you use this particular serif font, if that's okay with you.
Yes.
Because
Okay. I'm sorry,
the
Mark.
previous one that was in the application, this was actually put in addition to.
Okay.
It was already stated that it was
Oh, I'm
acceptable
sorry.
to the applicant by Sonny.
I'm sorry.
Okay, for HDC 0392013, for installing the new message lettering on the existing awning on the east side of the building on Main Street with the message in green lettering, as stated with the serif font that was posted, or that was added in addition
Block letter.
with the application.
I'll second that.
Madam Secretary, I have a motion on the floor to approve HGC 0392013 as stated by Mr. DeLorenzo and seconded by Mr. Hayes. Would you call the roll, please?
Mr. DiLorenzo,
Yes.
Mr. Hayes,
Yes.
Councilman Les,
Yes.
Mr. Dyer,
Yes.
Chairwoman Blitz,
Yes.
and the motion carries.
Great.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you for
Thank you.
coming in.
Thank you.
I will try my best.
We appreciate that. Thanks.
Thank you.
Does he need that? Thank you. Okay, agenda item 5, we are going to have another courtesy presentation of the C Street Flats project presented by Brady Earhart from Klingbeil Capital Management. And I'd like to take note that we have Mr. Manzi here with us as well this evening.
Yeah, if I
and
may,
Carl.
we asked Mr. Manzi to be present because this is an overlay application in case any of the commission members have any question about how the process works and the HDC's role in it, just purely as a resource.
Okay.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm a construction manager for Klingbeil Capital Management. So we're back to just, well, first off, verify that we haven't made any changes to the project since the last time you saw them. Short of one thing that I believe has been enhanced is there's a parklet that I think wasn't on the original submission. I wasn't here for that, so would have to. I'd have to go back and look, but outside of that, we haven't made any changes to the project
Okay.
since you last saw it.
Would you like to review it just a little bit
Yeah,
about the aesthetic value of it?
Yeah, this is the elevation on, this is C Street. This parklet that we've added, it's really popular. Carl, we talked about this, is popular in San Francisco. It's something that we're going to try to bring in, incorporate here, so that the people can bring whatever business eventually goes into this commercial space out and start, kind of bring it outside
Bump it out a little bit.
and use some of that space. We've got, this shows a river stone with a water table, brick front, and these are hardy lap siding and shingle. So it's a very durable exterior. We're doing a project similar to this in Columbus, Ohio right now. And we did a project like this in Columbus about 5 years ago that I was just by it last week, and it looks as good now as it did 5 years ago when we built it. So 142 units, one and two bedrooms, 4 buildings, with a smaller clubhouse with a couple units above it and back by the pool, with the pool. If you guys have any questions.
It reminds me of a big mill building. You know,
Yeah.
I like it.
Just so I understand, if I could, Madam Chair. This is a flat roof with some peaks on it.
Yeah, it's a
Stylistic
combination.
peaks, essentially.
Yeah, the flats are primarily to handle all the air conditioning condensing units so that they're not at ground level.
Okay, so I'm looking at this, and it appears to me you'll be able to hide those air conditioning
Yeah.
units in between the 2 peaks running down the middle of the building,
Yeah, that's correct.
I assume that's your intent.
Yeah, you won't know that they're there.
Excellent,
So,
excellent.
Madam Chair, if I may, just,
Yes, please.
I don't want to bore you. The parklets, so I explain where we're going with this, it's been approved, is sometimes it can be confused for just a sidewalk cafe, but it's not. It's a public seating area where anybody can sit down, and what our idea is, and we actually haven't talked to the applicant about this yet, is to sponsor, and Mrs. Goodman is here, who's the president of the Laurel Arts District Commission, is to actually have an art contest, to have a piece of sculpture placed in this area with the
Love it.
pertinent seating, and then it would be a review of something that's Laurel themed that could be put in this parklet on the sidewalk, which is of course right about across from the theater and the galleries on C Street. So I think it gives us a nice start. Plus it brings in the arts district and the local artists to the area, and involves them, because they will be using the space inside this building.
Very good.
And then the applicant, and just, again, not to rattle off, they're donating also money to do a feasibility study for, and the city has included this in its CIP, for the beginning feasibility for the amphitheater project on the river, which should be
Excellent.
hopefully adjacent to this, and at least start that process off. Okay, I'm done.
Very good.
And these units, if I remember correctly, some of them have balconies, is that correct?
Yeah, primarily second, third, and fourth floor.
Right.
There are some fifth floor balconies on the B Street
Right.
building.
Okay.
Then the ones facing the river will be the premier luxury apartments.
The ones above the
That
pool
will be
clubhouse are
beautiful.
definitely premium.
Yeah, they happen to just, by sheer nature of the clubhouse size, became some pretty interesting and large one-bedroom units. They're very nice.
And how many parking spaces are we doing here?
I think our ratio is, I don't know the total count offhand, but I think the ratio is in the like 1.2 something
Okay.
range.
They're also required to at least investigate, subject to the city's approval, to provide at least one zip car. So it encourages people not to have a car there, so they can get it walking distance to obviously to the train station, so.
And I can tell you we did the one I referenced in Columbus that we're just wrapping up in July is primarily one bedrooms, and our ratio there was I think 1.42. So we had a little bit more parking on that site than we do here, and we're not coming close to using all the parking. So it works. It works well. So.
And then parking-wise, for business parking, are they allowed to go underneath and
Yeah, there's some
inside, or
some,
just on the street, or what was
yeah.
the planning for business parking?
This might make it easiest. Yeah, where they come in, this parking back underneath here is dedicated to that business.
Okay.
So you'll have off-street parking and then this parking.
And parking on the street.
Excuse me?
And parking on the street.
Yeah.
Can you guys in the audience see you can come up and
I can spin it.
look at it, or you can, if you move it around so they can see it as well. I think they've probably seen it before. Let's see.
Once you break ground, what's the build-up?
Probably 14 to 16 months total, worst case. Obviously, it's better for us if it's faster, so if there's a way, we'll do it.
Okay.
And what was your projected start on that for breaking ground?
Right now, we're mid-July, if everything comes together, but it's all pending on a lot of WSCC paperwork that we've got to get back, so.
Okay, you're dealing with WSSC and stormwater management with the county. I'm sure you're getting real good service there.
So far,
Good.
yeah.
Are they throwing your plans back over the?
Not
wall to
yet,
you
not yet. We got a conceptual review back that was, I didn't think it was all that
Okay.
difficult. So far, I'm not going to,
And the water and sewer necessary for this project is available, is that
yeah.
correct? With
There'll
the
be an
close
extension, that's going to need to be done on C Street. There's currently a 6-inch water main that's going to have to be upsized to an 8-inch.
They gonna make you loop that?
No.
Okay, they'll let you stub it down?
Yeah, and it currently has 2 8-inch sanitary sewers already servicing the site, so we're fine there.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
And if I may, the city's also in the final process as part of its sale of this property to erasing the alleys. Mr. Manzi has been coordinating that with the consent of all the property owners in that entire block to deal with the erasure, because the planning commission will have to approve a record plat erasing, obviously, the interior lots in this parcel. So that should happen in the next 60 days as well.
That'll come to the council for approval, Mr. Manzi.
The abandonment of the alley will. What we're waiting for is we have one deed,
Okay,
quitclaim deed,
all right.
that still has not come back.
Okay.
But we have all the others. And it's actually a win-win for the owners, because basically they had rights in each other's backyards for this alley, which has never been used by anybody. And in fact, the Sally Port for the police department was built across that alley. So, obviously it's, other than up between, just at Main, where the meat market is, that portion of the alley is used back to the public alley, but beyond that, it's never been used. The owners have been very cooperative with us. They'd like to see it, they like to get their backyards back and know that they're their backyards. And the Kings down the street actually will gain another 10 feet.
I'm sure they'll like that.
That would be, I think they like that. So.
It's a freebie.
More to mow.
So just so we understand, Mr. Manzi, so we'll do the abandonment,
Yes, sir.
we'll execute the sale,
Yes, sir.
they'll draw their permits and get going.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I
July.
can't help the county permits, but we know that the city
Well-
permits will be done in a very timely manner.
As long as it's stormwater, I would assume that WSSC is not going to give them any hassle.
I wouldn't think so, because this is Systems Area 3, and
Yeah.
it's throughout this whole
Right.
area, so it's.
The whole city.
Yeah, that's not an issue. And I don't believe there's any allocation issue. The only question would be the increase in the size of the water line, but if the developer's doing it, then all they have to do is get their plans approved by WSSC, which is not difficult. The most difficult thing will be the ultimate stormwater management. I know you all have heard that many times, that is the major holdup in Prince George's County right now, and that is that it takes forever and a day to get stormwater management approved.
But just remember, if they throw it back over the wall and tell you to make some changes, make sure they don't put it on the bottom of the pile when you take it back down there. That's been a problem.
Try to walk it through.
Yeah.
You need to make sure that it gets back to somewhere near the top of the pile.
If you've got an in on that, I'm
I-
willing to listen.
There's been, I don't have an end. Stormwater
Be a lot better if you did.
stormwater management's a tough issue,
Yeah, it sounds like.
county. But again, they haven't thrown it back over the wall with a lot of changes. You shouldn't have much trouble.
Well, I can say so far they've been very receptive. So far, like I say, past 30 days, we haven't had a lot of
Excellent.
negative feedback from them, so.
Okay.
Anything else? Well, thanks for having us.
For me, thank you.
We're excited to get started.
Thanks
It's
for
nice
coming.
to meet you.
Yeah, you too.
Move on to some staff approvals. If there are any questions, there are two of them. 1110 Montgomery and 204 6th Street, both in kind. No comments?
No comments.
No comments. Okay. Anybody have any new business? No new business?
Not that comes to mind at the moment.
Have a motion to
I'll
adjourn?
move to adjourn.
Okay, thank you. So moved? Yes. I'll go watch basketball. Birthday party. My daughter turned 20 today. We're having a scavenger hunt. She has 20 presents all through the whole house that she has to find now.